Namaste yogis. This is Stephen from YogaWorks and welcome to part 3 of our Restore and Reset mini series. So 3 restorative yoga sequences to teach our bodies how to drop into deep stillness, which is exactly the theme of this class. And we're going to be using the wall for this whole sequence. So find a space. You don't need a lot of space, but just for the first one, we'll have the mat along the long edge at the wall, and then we'll turn it so the short edge will be along the wall a little bit later. I have a blanket and 2 blocks. The 2 blocks are optional, but I find that it feels good when I use them. I'll show you in a moment. But if you don't have these, it's not a big problem. You can also do with a pillow or something else to support you. So our first pose, I'm grabbing the blocks. It's very simple. Just slide your hips all the way back against the wall. And then bring the soles of the feet together. And you don't have to pull the feet in as close as possible. You can have them a little bit further away from you. And you can see why I need the blocks here, because my knees are quite high up from the mat. So then I like to just slide 1 block under each side. And if your knees are not all the way down, it's really nice to have something to support the outer knees. So you're sending a signal to your body that it is safe to relax and to let go. You might even find after a while you can slide the blocks a little bit further, or maybe have them on a lower setting. So I'm lengthening the spine, but then relaxing against the wall. The back of the head is against the wall, and you can rest your hands where they are comfortable. And take a moment. Sometimes the first pose feels a little bit harder to relax. You might have just woken up, or maybe you just came from work, or you just had a long day behind you, getting ready for bed. So take a moment just to let your body settle here. Feel the support of the wall behind you. Feel the support of the blocks or the floor under your knees. And we're not looking for the deepest stretch ever. We're looking for a gentle release, an invitation to open and to deepen. So don't go to your maximum stretch. I would say about 60 to 70% is ideal for this practice. And with every out breath, see if you can let go a little bit more into the support of the wall behind you, the floor underneath you. Instead of holding yourself, you can feel that you are being held. Got half a minute left. See if you can allow the wall and the floor to fully accept your weight. Surrender into these points of contact. And then slowly remove your support. If you were using blocks, you can place them off to the side. And then from here, just straighten the left leg. We're likely to use the blanket, so I'll bring mine a bit closer already. And bring your right heel in to the right hip. Again, shuffle your hips back so they're all the way up against the wall, and you can just feel that support behind you. And then turn your chest over the right knee. Just take a little moment here to feel this new setup. And then keep that, but start to lift the right arm up and allow the left hand to come down to your left thigh. And if this is a little bit too low for you to rest comfortably, then just have a blanket to support you here. You can make it thicker as well, just so it's really comfortable. And let that right arm go up, lean it against the wall, and then start to bend the right elbow. And I like to hold the back of the head with that right arm. And just lean back a little bit. It's possible that your elbow comes off the wall, mine does, but I'm feeling a really great stretch in the whole side body here. So that's what we're going to hold for a little bit longer. Relax the weight of the head into that left hand. Support the left elbow so that there's no extra effort required there. Lean back with the back against the wall, maybe the right shoulder, maybe the right arm. And if it's more comfortable, you can also let the arm just dangle over your head. Just find a place that is as comfortable as possible. And then see if you can drop down into the pose again. Feeling of weightedness in the legs and the hips. Feeling of acceptance of this position that we're in. And if it's not comfortable, then just back out a little bit, go a little bit higher up, or lean a little bit away from the wall if you need to. It should feel revitalizing, rejuvenating. It should not feel stressful in any way. We've got half a minute left. See if you can allow the mind to rest in the shape in the body. And really slowly release your arm first and start to lift up. It's good to come out of these poses really slowly so we don't make any sudden movements. We won't need the blanket for the next one. Now just turn over that straight left leg. You might bring that leg in a little bit so you've got more space to turn. And then what I like to do is just reach the right arm to the outside of the left leg and then drape the left arm over the right arm. So you create a little bit of a mild bind here. And now we're no longer using the wall strictly, just the hips are against the wall, but that's it. We're just allowing the upper body to drape over that left leg. And because we've turned, we're getting a little bit more, instead of the side body, we're getting a little bit more into the lower back. Again, you feel the pelvis rest heavily on the mat. And from that space, can you feel the spine lengthen forward and up, creating this spacious feeling in the right side of the lower back. As you stay a little bit longer in the pose, is there something that you can surrender? Maybe some holding of muscles, maybe a tension in the shoulders or in the face. Whatever you don't need, drop it now. And also notice the name of this class is the deep stillness. We cannot force the deep stillness. We need to create the conditions and then be really patient to drop ourselves into it. It's almost more when we drop everything else, then the stillness is what remains. It is always there, but often it's buried under many layers of busyness and stress. And then take your time to help yourself up with the hands. It's good to take a moment, just lean back against the wall, feel the after effects of doing this first side of stretches. And then let's swap the legs. So the left leg will come in, the right leg is going out. Take a moment to scoot your hips back against the wall so that you can lean into it. And bring the left heel in, it doesn't have to be all the way in, it might be a bit further out, it's okay. And then I'm preparing my little pad here. So first we're turning over the left knee. Take a moment to arrive in this shape. And then lift the left arm against the wall and start to slide the right hand out. And again, if you've got something to support you, it's going to be really helpful to just rest the hand. And then bend your left elbow and still leaning back. Maybe hold the back of the head with the left hand. Later on I shifted to just draping the arm over the head, so you can do that too. Or you can just do that straight away. And then again, feeling the start of this pose, the initial intensity of the part of the body we're stretching. So in this case, you're likely to feel it in the left waist, in the rib cage on that side, and probably the lats, so under that armpit, maybe the triceps. And instead of going deeper as in stretching more, can you drop deeper as in relaxing more and allowing the pose to do its work? Almost as if you're not really involved, you just dropped off your body here in this shape. You're allowing everything to happen. Maybe drape that left arm over the head and just find a place where you can really drop in for another minute or so. I'm building in little moments of silence because often It's nice to do these classes, the restorative ones, after a day at work or before, when you get ready for bed. And there's probably enough noise and busyness already without having to listen to a whole range of instruction. And then really slowly remove that left hand and push yourself up. And just lean back before we move on to the next pose. Just lean back and feel any changes that happen in your body. And then start to turn over that right leg. You might need to bring that left knee in a little bit so you have more space to turn to the right. And then do the same as the other side. I like to have the left hand over or to the outside of the right leg, and then just drape the wrists on top of each other. So cross the arms on top of that leg. And then just drop in. The two sides can feel very, very different. On the first side I could feel more lower back, and here I feel a bit more right hamstring. And there's never any right or wrong kind of feeling in the pose. There's just how your body responds to it. Feeling grounding through the lower body. Let the legs be heavy. And then take your awareness to the left side of the lower back. And can you breathe a little bit more space into that side? Sometimes in these longer holds of yoga poses, you might feel an impatience, being restless, which is quite normal holding this for a long time. But see if you can catch the impulse of maybe moving or shifting around or changing something. Can you catch the impulse rather than the movement itself? Maybe it's not necessary to move or to shift or to fidget. And you could just stay still for a little bit longer. This is training as well as physical as well as mental training for our bodies and minds. And then really slowly make your way up. Unrushed. Sit back for a moment. And then we'll change our mat so that the short edge can face against the wall. So just turn the mat around and lie on it with your hips a little bit away from the wall, about a lower leg's distance, and place your feet on the wall. So we're aiming for about 90 degrees in the knees and in the hips. It doesn't have to be perfect, you can still make adjustments later on. And then just lift the hips slightly to place your right ankle on the left knee and lower the hips down again. And you'll quickly feel either it's too much, which means you can move your hips a little bit further away from the wall. If you can't feel anything, then it's not enough, then you might need to move your hips closer to the wall. Or if it's just right, then it's just right. And what I like to do here with the right hand, you can gently support the right inner thigh. Just so, again, there's no muscular effort required to keep the leg in place. And then again, drop in, let the spine relax on the mat. Let that right outer hip soften. And let your breath flow with ease, bringing a sense of expansion, or new potential with every inhale. The sense of the stillness, the letting go that we are looking for with every exhale. As you prop your leg up with that right hand, make sure the right elbow is on the mat or on a support, maybe a blanket, so that you can just let as many joints of the body rest as possible. Last few breaths here. And then keep the ankle on your left knee, but just start to walk the left foot down the wall all the way over to the left side. And then let the right foot come down outside that left knee. And then there's two options here. With the left hand, you can either gently prop up that right inner thigh, or my favorite is with the left hand to pin that right foot down so that the foot doesn't slide away. And again, drop into this place. No effort is required, or very minimal effort, just to stay in the pose. Using the support of the wall and the floor to hold us. And extending an invitation to our body and to our mind to drop into this deep stillness. And if you practice like this, our yoga practice can be an antidote to all the rushing around, the being active, the feeling of having to be in control all the time, the feeling that it's very hard to keep all those balls in the air when you're juggling. And now we see in the restorative practice, we can just get into a shape that is accessible, that feels nurturing, and we can just let go. In fact, it's not so much you that let go. You create the conditions, and then the issues let go of you. The negative thoughts, the fear of the future, the feeling stuck about something in the past. We can't let go of it. It lets go of us. And then slowly start to come back with both feet on the wall. Adjust your distance if you have moved. And just rest for a moment. Feel the right hip compared to the left hip after just doing one side. Then let's do the second side, just lift the hips a little bit to get the left ankle onto the right knee. You can adjust your distance. For more intensity, go closer to the wall. For less intensity, go away from the wall. And then just find a way to support the left inner thigh with your left hand. Prop up the left elbow if you need to. Let it be supported as much as possible. And take a moment to feel the entrance into the pose. Initial stretch. Often our mind has an opinion about this pose. Oh, I love this one, I could stay here forever. Or no, this is not my favorite. Or I'm not flexible enough and I can't do this. All of those are opinions of our own mind. So can you set those aside? Just drop into this space. And if those thoughts are still coming and going, then just let them, that's fine. And then slowly, keeping the ankle on that right knee, start to wiggle your right foot down towards the floor. Let the left foot come down outside your right knee. Either support the left inner thigh with your right hand, or pin the left foot down with the right hand, whichever one feels more relaxing to you. And this is it, you have arrived. Explore the pose. Imagine it's a house, it's a new building. You've just come in through the front door. And then you don't stay at the front door, you explore the rest of the building, the other rooms, the upstairs, basement. You're exploring more than just the physical space. We're teaching the mind to relax in the moment. It's probably the hardest part. The body knows how to relax, and often the mind doesn't. From the time we open our eyes in the morning until the time we fall asleep, the mind often feels really busy and really involved, and sometimes quite chaotic. So here's an invitation, the mind to settle. Last few moments, breaths in this shape. And then gently start to release. Walk the hips a little bit closer towards the wall. Then come into a sort of squat on the wall, you could say. So my hips are still a little bit away from the wall, and place your feet a little bit wider. Let the knees open wide, and with your hands you can support the knees, under the knees, on the inside. Doesn't matter. Couple of breaths here to feel the after effects of our restorative practice. If you have a little bit more time, you can stay in this wall squat for a little bit longer. Or what I would really recommend actually is to just extend your legs up and shuffle your hips all the way up against the wall and spend another 5, 10, 15 minutes in Viparita Karani, which is the legs up the wall pose. Or if this was all the practice time you had today, then start to walk your feet down on one side and slowly come up to sitting. Place your palms together at the heart. Take a moment to feel this restful state the body and mind are in just a short amount of time. You've created the conditions to drop into deep stillness. Touch your hands to your forehead, to your heart, and bow to yourself on the mat. Thank you for practicing, for taking care of your health. I hope to see you again soon, and take care.